Hello everyone, my name is Leandro and well, I'm here to teach you a little bit about fan studies. So first question, right? What are fans? What is a fan? Everyone has seen a fan before. You've seen ceiling fans, you've seen table fans, fans that have 3 or 4 blades, fans that... Yo, sorry, huh?
Dude, it's not that one.
What?
It's not this kind of
Oh,
fan. It's the
oh.
other fan.
Oh,
Yeah?
okay. Sorry. Let's restart things. Let's restart things.
Come
Sorry,
on,
sorry.
dude.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leandro, and I'm here today to teach you a little bit about fan studies. And now, for real, what is a fan? Fans are people like you and me, but with a plus. So fans have been studied for a while now, and studies about fans really started to catch up when we're thinking about sports fans. And people that go to watch sports matches and especially football matches, they've always been considered fans. And the word that derives from the word fanatic, so someone that has a deep attraction to something. And the sports fans tend to always be an example that we go back to because they are quite visible to most people, and we see people going to stadiums and etc. Just this week, in the midst of a pandemic, we saw a lot of Ajax fans um, just invading the stadium to celebrate the current title from Ajax in the Dutch league, and we see them as very passionate. So fans are always very often characterized as being very passionate, as being really doing everything for their object of fanish desire, of fanish attraction, and they can really go the extra mile when it's something related to what they love. We see here in the slides 2 pictures of things that we love and that we probably miss quite a bit. Going to shows, going to concerts, where you're usually sharing an experience with a lot of other people that probably like the same artists that you're looking at. And the picture below, it's some people doing and engaging in cosplay and comic cons and fan events like these ones that are more related to pop culture, to Japanese anime and manga culture and gaming culture, are all events that people miss a lot in these times of a pandemic, but they are also events where fans can really express themselves in different ways, in very particular ways about who they are and what is it that they like doing. Are you a fan of something? Probably, right? I'm a fan of both of these things you see in the picture here. So I definitely miss going to concerts, and the last one I went was a while ago. And I definitely miss going to comic cons, to anime cons, and etc. Although I've never really engaged in cosplay myself, cosplay is just one of the many ways that fans express their love for something, express their love for a cultural product. Personally, I just watch things more, I buy some merchandise and etc. But fans can express their love, their affection for these objects in different ways. But let's try to explore a little bit more about fans. One of the interesting characteristics that we can think about fans is that they share affective experiences. And what would these affective experiences be? When we think about affection, when we are affected by something, we're talking about the kinds of emotions they invoke on us, the kinds of feelings that we have and that we allow ourselves to feel when we are engaged with something that we are deeply connected to. Going back to the football example, so as you know, Deborah, your lecturer is Brazilian, and so am I. And in the picture here, you see probably one of the most tragic moments in Brazilian football history, which was back in 2014, the loss 7-1 to against in a match against Germany in the World Cup that was being held in Brazil. More specifically, this match was in actually my hometown, so it really hits home when I look at this image. So you see this guy with a mustache holding the cup, like an imitation of the cup. He became a meme. He became kind of this image that we identified as the sadness of the Brazilian looking at this. And this picture tells so many things. We see the girl like just holding on to the guy really holding that. And we see the German supporter kind of like excited, but sort of also feeling bad for the people and like kind of in between feelings, in between emotions. And especially when we are talking about big experiences like a football match, like a gig where people are actually bundled together, where the fans are together, these affective experiences are shared in an even more physical way, where the emotions of one will beat up upon the other. It can be emotions of sadness, of happiness, of anger, of anyway, any sort of emotion that people can feel. And fans, they really share these affective experiences a lot. And that is one of the components of what makes a fan something slightly different from other audiences, from other publics, is that this shared affective experience is really important. This sharing of affect does not have to be geographically located in the same place, right? We can share affective experiences with people anywhere in the world as long as we are fans of the same sort of object. So we can use the social media to connect with other people, or just kind of remotely. Maybe we never really talk to them, but we're still connected to this big group of fans of something that we appreciate and that we really like. Some of the reasons for this is that fans, they tend to be highly engaged audiences. So we are all audiences of something. We watch our TV shows, we listen to music, we play some games, so on and so forth. And we like doing that, right? In a daily basis. It's part of who we are. We read a book and so on. Fans again go the extra mile, and fans really engage with their object in a different way, with their fandoms in another way. Here's a good example: the Harry Potter Alliance, which is a global alliance of Harry Potter fans with several chapters in different countries and cities. And what they do at the Harry Potter Alliance is quite interesting and pretty unique. Is that they engage a lot in what we call civic engagement and civic action. So they help poor communities, they do donations, they do big campaigns to increase access to reading for other people, and etc. And these are global campaigns. So this is a fandom, it's a group of people that got together because of their shared affection for Harry Potter. But they also realized they as a group, they could do much more. They could be engaged in much more. So we see, and it's becoming more and more common to see a lot of fan groups very politically active, very civically active, uh, being engaged in different sorts of protests and etc. If you look at images from protests of like Black Lives Matter, the Me Too movement, the Chilean protests a couple of years ago, you see that a lot of the fan language, the fan imagery pops up. So you see a lot of references to pop culture, people doing cosplays and just using the cosplay or using a message from a anime or a movie as a way to protest against the government or to protest against violence against Black people in the case of BLM and etc. And fans are these highly engaged audiences, which one way that they engage is this through civic action, to civic engagement, but it can also be a bit less, let's say, positive in a way. Uh, Fans also consume and produce, and that's another way that they show their engagement with the things that they are fans of. And essentially, fans are very much embedded in a capitalist logic, right? We are fans of products that are created, and they are created to sell most of the time, and you have merchandise about it. So an image that you see here is an anime called Haikyuu about volleyball, which I am particularly a part of this fandom. I am a fan. I've been using the word fandom a lot, and maybe you're like, oh, what is a fandom? Fandom is basically when you see this group of people that are fans kind of coming together in physical or online spaces and etc. And it's just an imagined community of people that like that particular character. I consider myself a part of the Haikyuu fandom community. I have a lot of merchandise. I went to Japan once, and then I bought a lot of Japanese merchandise of Haikyuu that was quite exclusive. I visited some Haikyuu exhibits that were going on. I started playing volleyball because, or actually restarted playing volleyball because I became such a big fan of Haikyuu that the show inspired me to take up volleyball again. And so, yeah, some of these are very good things, but some of these we also should look from a critical perspective uh, to think, okay, these are all very capitalist logics and capitalist products. And we as fans, we kind of embedded in this and we make this economy circulate. We are the ones that want this merchandise because we want to show the world out there that, we are fans, we love it, we like this thing. And it's amazing how it can happen sometimes that just by wearing the merchandise of a certain TV show, you can actually connect with other people. So when I took up volleyball again, I would go with my Haikyuu bag, sometimes with a Haikyuu shirt, and I found out that a lot of the people that I was playing volleyball with also started playing because of Haikyuu. Some other people didn't, and then we told them about the show, and they also became fans of the show. And it goes like that, and we became kind of a nice group of friends that came together because of a shared love for volleyball and Haikyuu. So that is pretty nice. But the way that I managed to contact these people was through the use of merchandise. So there's a lot of layers that are important to think when we're discussing fans, how fans deal with consumption, because consuming is a big part of being a fan. But how do they negotiate these things, right? But again, at the same time that they consume and they produce a lot because fans do fan fiction, etc., they also try to challenge, to resist what we can call the powers that be. And how do they do that? Well, they can resist things by twisting the narrative. So again, from Haikyuu here, we have two main characters of Haikyuu kissing and kind of getting very shy about it. Did this happen in the original story? No. The original story has no romance. It's not a boys' love yaoi romance story. It's a sports anime. However, the fan community, as it happens with basically any kind of fandom out there, sometimes they ship the characters and they want them to be romantically engaged, romantically together. And the way that they portray this desire is by engaging in creating fan art, which you see here, by writing fan fiction, by just talking and imagining these characters in different situations. It's by no means a new practice, and what we usually call the slash fan fiction, which is a kind of erotic, is very erotic, really, erotic slash pornographic kind of fan fiction that started back in the day and got especially popular with the Star Trek ship of Spock and Captain Kirk, probably one of the main boys love kind of shipping, but also happens with Sherlock and Watson, and basically any kind of male duo that you see that becomes famous around the world and in different products. But this is not the only way that fans resist powers that be and that the fans can engage with something. I mentioned before the Harry Potter Alliance, which is definitely challenging a lot of even capitalist tenets because they fight for better distribution of resources, they fight for social justice and equality, and etc. There is a game called the World of Warcraft, an online game, and every year in this game you have a LGBT parade. So you have a lot of players coming together with their characters in an LGBT parade, which is also a form of fan protest, of fan activism, especially then to give visibility to LGBT causes. The reason why they did that was because initially in these servers, you would see a lot of homophobia, which of course still happens, but also homophobic stances from the developers of the game, Blizzard, the developers called Blizzard. And this LGBTQ parade is not just a virtual parade. It's not just a enactment of themselves and a fight for their visibility and etc., but also establishing that we are consuming this product, we are here, and we're going to stay here. In fact, one of their motto is "We're gay, We're gay, we play, we're here to stay. That is like one of their chants, right? Which is to go against this kind of very heteronormative gaming community and etc. So no, we're gay, we play, and we're here to stay. And every year they have these, and it's very nice. It's a place of resistance as well. Popular culture is a place of resistance, and fans especially use popular culture as a place of resistance in many different ways. And I'm just showing some examples. There's definitely way more complexity and a lot of more interesting things about fans. This is just to kind of get you excited and maybe really wanting to go into it. But how can we research fans, right? Because I'm talking about it from an academic point of view. You can do both qualitative and quantitative research about fans, although I must say that qualitative research is more common when we're talking about fans. So we see a lot of ethnographies, so we go and become a part of these communities and really investigate them from within. A lot of the times, the academics that write about fans, they are what Henry Jenkins named ACA fan, where we negotiate our position as academic and as a fan of a particular product and how to write about that culture, how to write about that fandom in a way that is both critical but also acknowledges that we're part of it. We share those experiences. We can do content analysis of different shows or different commentary on the internet and etc. Different fandom groups, conducting interviews with fans, having these affective explorations of fan events. So going to Comic Cons, going to anime cons, and just enjoying it and seeing things. Quantitatively, we can do surveys, we can do experiments, we can engage in linguistic analysis, and etc. I recorded this thing that you're going to see for another course of mine, but it kind of fits here. So there you go, a little bit of a jokey thing on how can you think about research in, well, fans and specifically about the Haikyuu community. So check it out.
The Haikyuu experiment. Day 1. Subject code name, Barker Sensei. Subject is ready. Subject sits in front of computer and looks relaxed. He yawns and seems bored. Day 2. Subject Barker Sensei. Subject still wearing same t-shirt. Proper otaku. Hopefully showered. Binged a whole season. Seems more engaged with anime. Day 5. Subject Barker Sensei. Subject has changed clothes. Subject has binged season 2 as well. Subject has acquired anime merchandise indicating a deeply affection to its characters. Day 30. Subject Barker Sensei. After waiting a month for the access to new season, subject seemed to have developed a keen liking of character Tsukishima, number 11. Subject also reports starting to add jump training to his exercise routine. Day 35. Subject Barker Sensei. Subject shows higher excitement with the show. Day 60. Subject Barker Sensei. Subject knows anime lines by heart and practices volleyball while watching it. Subject increases his jump training. Day 75. Subject Barker Sensei. Subject seems to have achieved its final form and joined a volleyball team. Subject reports that anime changed his life for the best. Subject is 100% otaku and a volleyball geek now. Experiment successful.
So now that you're back here, after seeing this tidbit that I recorded another time, how can we research fans? It's really about what do you want to know about them? Ask yourself, and that's the first question. What do you want to know about a fan group, about a fandom? Is it how they organize themselves? Is it which effects belonging to this fandom has given to people in real life? Is it their community of practice and how do they manifest themselves? Do you want to look at gender identity in their fan fiction, in their fan art? You can want to look at politics of identification and etc. There's just so many things, including, for example, how fans are highly connected to politics. If we look at Trump supporters, for example, their behavior is very fan-like. They are fans of Donald Trump, and they want to support him at all costs. And to do so, they engage in very similar practices to practices of people that like Haikyuu or that like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not that different, actually. And we have some authors like Cornel Sandvoss, Ashley Hink, Henry Jenkins, Sangeeta Shrestova, which I might have completely mispronounced, that are authors that really investigate this connection between fans and politics. So there's so many possibilities for you to engage further with understanding fans as this very particular kind of audience that is connected to cultural products, to TV shows, to movies, to books, to comics, to games, also to sports, different sports events. But it's by no means a new phenomenon. Fans have been around for centuries, and I'm not joking. Right? It's literally centuries, because we can definitely trace back the first fans to, well, when the press started being divulged and theater became more accessible and people could just like other people. And probably back then they would also gather together and talk, oh yeah, have you seen that Shakespeare play yesterday? It was fantastic, wasn't it? And that like back in, I don't know, in the 18th century. Of course, we don't have much data about that, but we can speculate that, well, fans, they exist for a while. The way we name them might be new, and the way we study them might be more recent. But the phenomena in itself not necessarily is not that recent. Now, just want to give you some resources, some things that you can Google if you want to know a bit more about fan studies. Where to start, right? You have some journals, like a journal called Participation, another one called Transformative Works, another one called Journal of Fandom Studies, journals that are very specifically about fan studies and kind of more active audiences, perspectives. But it's also present, of course, in most journals about media and communication. There are some research associations like the Fan Studies Network, which if you Google, you get to their website and you can get plenty of resources. And also different authors that deal with fan studies, among other things. So a couple of names here. Henry Jenkins might be one of the that you might have heard of. Matt Hughes, Lucy Bennett, Bethan Jones, Bertha Chen, Abigail de Kosnik, Paul Booth, Cornel Sandvoss, John Fiske, Lori Morimoto, Adriana Amaral, Rukmini Pandey, and many, many others that you can find around. These are just a few that I've read before, that I like, or that I find interesting. But there are so many in many different countries. So if you are interested in learning more about fans as an audience and fan studies, you can start by Googling fans, fandom, and something you like. What is it that right now you consider yourself a fan of? Start from there. See what have people been writing about it and how do they investigate that. That is the best way to really figure out what fan studies is all about. This was just a brief, short introduction, I guess, to fan studies. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to get in touch, if you have any questions for me, feel free to get in touch. Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, email. I always use the same handle, so it's easy to find me. So thank you and see you around. Bye-bye.